Hey. Welcome back to the TFL podcast. We got a fancy new little video intro if you're listening, watching us on YouTube. So enjoy that one, everybody. Work. So, Arch, it's good to see you. We're into week 3.
Yes. No, doing well. I mean, to be honest, not doing great after last week's DFS results, but, whatever.
Hey, look,
on to the next week, really, isn't it? That's sort of where we're up
right.
to.
Week 2 wasn't great for me either, except for a nice, handy little $2 win in the Draft Stars mini for Sunday Night Football, Kansas City, Baltimore. That was a good game. So it was a great game, just as awesome football. But no, it was nice to win at a show, one of those single game lineups. I really enjoy that. That's probably one of my favorite ways of playing DFS, to be honest. I really like the single game slates. But
you feel you can get lots of, get those little weird combinations going, and you don't feel bad because there aren't too many other options anyway. So
no, that's right. The guy that won it for me was Blake Bell.
Yes,
the second tight end. Tight end at Kansas City. Kelsey was off. I even heard the commentators say, "Oh, Kelsey for a 20-yard 20-yard reception." Yes. And then we looked back and I was like, "Oh, his name's Blake Bell," and I'm just pumping my fists over this no-name guy that's got me 20 receptions, 20 yards. So look, that was fun. So that was good. But hey,
nice.
It's week 3. We can reset everybody. So here we are. Today we're going to talk all things week 3 for a redraft DFS.
Yeah.
We are super excited once again to jump back in. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We have a Patreon at the TFL Podcast, so hit that up, and our website, thetflpodcast.com. We would always much appreciate a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And hey, if you put one up there, then you go in for a chance to win one of those beautiful stubby holders or koozies if you're from the States.
Look at them just sitting on the couch behind me.
Very well placed. That's right. I'm sure they're always up all the time.
I put a lot of effort into this podcast set here, Rowan. I've got a bloody stubby holders and a football line on the couch.
Yeah, well done. That's great. Oh, dear. Anyway, look, it's week 3. Arch, how are you feeling about the season so far? There's been a bit of I don't know, I feel like we're still not quite sure of what's really happening with different teams and players and all that kind of stuff. We hope there are people that will shake out, like Zeke and Kamara. They've given us some interesting weeks in terms of their both their usage and their performance. How are you feeling about the season so far? What do you hope for week 3?
Look, to be fair, it's a situation where I remember our good friend Detroit Beastie, Chris Robin, telling us, don't go hard too early in week 1, week 2. There's a lot of chaos. Man, I ignored the crap out of that. And man, does my DraftKings and DraftStars account sort of look a little bit not great. So look at that, it's still fine. Look, basically, I'm probably striking at about 80%. So we're slowly bleeding away. But I've taken an approach of mainly playing GPP. So we expect a lot of down weeks, and then something like yourself getting that first place in that tournament sort of covers multiple weeks. So look, obviously, we'll just hope that we hit that goal soon rather than later, and especially as we start to get a lot more intel about how teams are using players. Yeah,
that's right. So look, it's always a week-to-week prospect here with DFS, and that's what makes it fun. You can always kind of restart, and you don't have to worry about what's happened before. You just go in, you keep your process strong, and you head into the next week, and you look again at what's out there.
Yes.
Now, we used to run news, and we
even got a lovely drop for it.
I know it was a really good one. Sad to see it go, but the reason we leave it behind, by the way, is just that we know that there are people that probably listen to this on the Saturday before football. We're recording this on a Thursday night Australian time, so Thursday morning American time. Things change, and so it's not always that useful for you. So we just want to encourage you. Make sure that you're maybe got notifications on Twitter for a few guys, or maybe you've got the Fantasy Pros app or the Sleeper apps. You should be getting news on your phone every day. You don't need us to be telling that to you. So be smart, be a smart fantasy footballer,
yes,
and make sure you've got everything at your fingertips. It's really easy. News is really easy to come by, isn't it, Arch?
Oh, yeah, mate, too easy. But it's also, you be selective who you listen to. There's a lot of crap out there as well. So,
yeah,
I've got, Twitter lists are great. Obviously, you follow a lot of people on Twitter, but I've got a special newsbreakers list of all the, your Rappaports, your Shefties, that sort of stuff. Just, giving me what I need.
That's it. The guys you trust. You want to hold on to that.
I'm not gonna. I can't sift through 32 teams beat reporters. I'll be honest. So I'm gonna let someone else do that for me.
That's fair enough. And hey, we're all consuming other content as well. There's always other stuff. There's people that are doing this every single day. That's not us. So go listen to them every other day. That you don't listen to us, of course. Make sure you listen to us every week. So we're gonna move on from that. But that means that's the great thing about that. Is that we get to just jump in and talk football straight away. So we're going to jump in to week 3 with our Thursday night preview. Here we go.
I went too early. Week 3 preview. Yeah.
Just in time for Thursday night football.
Yes.
Blockbuster game, this one.
Oh, mate. Bring it on.
Can't wait.
Bring it on.
First up, let's jump in. Because, hey, there's football to talk about. Straight up, we've got Houston taking on Carolina. At Houston, we've got a 43.5 point total. And Carolina's favored by about 8 points.
Yes.
I can easily see Carolina jumping over that line.
Yep.
And winning by 2 touchdowns. Like, this is...
Yeah.
No Tyrod Taylor.
No. That's the
Davis
thing.
Mills comes in.
Ugh.
It's ugly. It's really ugly.
Yes.
So...
Jump on Carolina D if they're available in your leagues, tell you what.
Oh, look, I picked him up. I picked the Carolina D up everywhere this week. Not just because as well. Like, yes, they're playing Houston. So I thought I would have to pay a little bit more. I probably paid too much in some spaces. But Carolina D, they're looking solid. You've finally got this second year of, after all their draft picks. You remember this 2 drafts ago, Carolina spent every single draft pick in that draft on defensive players. And so here we are seeing that growth and development, and they're finally coming into this space now where they're really holding their own.
Yeah,
really surprising to some, but I think it makes sense given what they invested. So Houston aren't going to move the ball at all. I'll honestly look. I'd be surprised if they get 2 touchdowns out there.
Yeah. That'll be Brandon Cooks. He's obviously on his way to another 1,000-yard season. So, he's
the only thing in that offense that matters.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good. But, really it's just let's just stick with CMC. And, Sam Darnold's probably going to have a good week as well, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he probably will. If you're going to play the showdown slate, if you're looking at DraftKings, you're looking at captains, then I'm a big fan of potentially DJ Moore being put in the captain spot. Christian McCaffrey obviously priced right up. So just want to consider that, I suppose. DJ Moore, though, this could be a 2-touchdown game. Robbie Anderson as well. Like, he's a guy that just breaks free down the line. Sam Darnold's played with him before, and I can easily see this be a big Robbie Anderson game. So, like the idea that potentially in a few lineups you can put in a couple of those pass catches into the captain spot. Brandon Cooks is interesting, though. Like, he's the guy that probably everyone will go to as the sole Houston player in some of those showdown lineups.
Yeah.
So, and rightly so, Davis Mills pretty much through, I think, 10 of 18 passes that he made, 10 of them went to Brandon Cooks, were targeted for Brandon Cooks. Let's just extrapolate that over a whole game. You've just, 15 targets for Brandon Cooks is definitely likely, because who else have they got?
No, well, it's running backs, isn't it, really?
That's it.
Nico Collins is out on the injured reserve. Who else have they got?
Good old Pharaoh.
Yeah. No, it's not looking great. So, I mean, I'm pretty down on even just playing this game, to be honest, Rowan.
Look, I think you might first place might be sharing the money with a lot of other people. Let's be honest, it might be there, or it's just that you get lucky with a Dan Arnold touchdown or something like that. Either way, if you're playing redraft, you're playing all of the Panthers, and you're playing Brandon Cooks, and that is it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Sunday, the big slate. Here we go.
Yes.
Start off with, Chicago at Cleveland.
Yes.
Who do you like here, Arch? Is this a game that you're going to be kind of focusing on this week? They've got it at a 46.5 total, so potentially less points being scored. Yep. Jarvis Landry is
missing the big news, Rowan. Justin Fields is in. Andy Dalton, see you later. Even though when you are healthy, you will start again.
Of course.
Bullshit. Look, unless we see it like a Zach Wilson-esque 4 interception performance, surely better cooler heads prevail and we see Justin Fields take this team by the scruff of the neck and actually, show us something.
I would hope so.
Oh, look, so, I tell you, someone who I'm looking at is Danielle Mooney this week. I think he's someone who's been very involved running a lot of routes, but he's just hasn't quite seen, taken advantage of that yet. I think this is the week where he can actually do that, and people are down on him because he hasn't produced. So this is the week, I think, for that Danielle Mooney could come through. Justin Fields on DraftKings, only 5,200. Draft Stars, who released their pricing yesterday, they've bumped him up a little bit though. So I'm probably going to avoid on Draft Stars, but DraftKings, I think he's worthy of a play.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could probably pair him up for sure, have a little bit of a stack. Cleveland aren't totally impervious through the air, so there's something there to be said. Justin Fields, though, he's just on that cheaper side in DraftKings. Remember what we saw in the preseason? He gets plays happening. He's one of those quarterbacks that can move around out of the pocket, get on his legs, and either rush for a number of yards or just extend plays, which is really important. I think as well, like you're saying, for Danielle Mooney, he's the guy that needs these plays to be extended, especially if he's kind of pushed down the field a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Justin Fields play. That's for sure.
No, can't wait.
On the other side, Cleveland, no Jarvis Landry. OBJ's definitely back this week.
Definitely back.
That he's been practicing. We'll go with that. Hey, we'll go with that. We'll see. But Cleveland they love to run the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's probably where you sit in this one. Can you play OBJ, whether it's redraft or DFS? What are we thinking for OBJ as he comes into the play? I wouldn't be taking a punt on him at all in DFS. But
no.
He could slide into some redraft lineups out there.
Yeah, but he's where you probably drafted him, you probably got another flex option that you can sort of have the luxury of just waiting and seeing a week how he's going to go. I'm hesitant, of course.
For sure. The Browns have shown that they like to throw the tight ends.
Yep.
Do you like any of they've got a few, Njoku, Hooper, and Harrison Bryant, Harrison Bryant's super cheap. At 2,800 on DraftKings, 5,000 basement price on Draft Stars. Do you like any of those guys as a bit of a punt tight end play, or it could go anywhere? So you're just like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, Look, I'm probably not going to play, but it may be GBP. I don't think it's there's enough there of a floor for a cash punt. I'll tell you in this lineup, who I am excited to punt is a bit of Cole Kmet.
Okay.
I think, you look at what he's got going on, 3.2 thousand at DK 5.8. He's definitely up there in terms of his usage there. Let me just bring up quickly.
He's definitely picking up. That's right. Like, he's the second-year tight end now, so he's getting more involved in the offense. He's
66%
third on the target.
Yeah, 66% route participation at the moment.
Yeah.
He's run 52 routes, which is up there with a lot of the higher price, not the very high price, but those mid to higher price tight ends on DFS. And so, look, I think the more he's getting involved, he's going to start seeing a lot more targets come his way. And I think maybe Justin Fields is the guy to do that to him.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. Justin Fields will open this offense up a little bit more. And they've actually planned for him now to step into the game as well, which is really important. Last week he kind of stepped in and they probably just weren't quite ready to have him take the field. But exciting. You're playing Nick Chubb. You're playing Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, all those guys that you know are good for potentially touchdowns and just good volume. You're going to play them. In terms of price for DFS, I still think Look, Allen Robinson's been down, and he's now priced at 6,200 on DraftKings. I like that value. I think he could probably step it up against a Cleveland offense that they're going to have to throw against. They're going to be in negative game scripts. So, most likely anyway, with Cleveland being 7-point favorite. So, I don't mind Allen Robinson here as a kind of a solo wide receiver play if you've got that kind of just over $6,000. I think that's good value for him.
Yep. All right, move on.
Yeah. Well, next one. Let's talk about, over-unders and stuff like that.
Yes.
This is a crazy game where it's a 52-point total.
Yep.
I'm amazed that Arizona are only 7-point favorites here.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's Arizona at Jacksonville.
Put a little bit of action on that right now.
This is ridiculous for mine. I think Kyler Murray is just showing that he is a quarterback for the year. Like, he is just another injury is what's going to take for him to
that's it.
fall off of the QB1 train.
So you probably had to draft him in the 4th round in redraft, and you're probably okay with that at the moment. If you're scoring plus 30 every week, thank you very much.
And you think he's going to do it again. Really? There's nothing telling us that it's not going to happen. And he's only 8,300 on DraftKings.
Yes.
15,500 on Draft Stars. I think it's great value on Draft Stars. Like, you can easily pay up for the top QBs on Draft Stars.
That's it. And if you're talking cash game lineups, I mean, it's a lock, isn't it? And then you just, you spend down at your wide receivers probably to make up for that, but you're going to be laughing. You've got a great floor there. DeAndre
Hopkins is being really efficient in a 4 wide receiver potent offense. DeAndre Hopkins he's just being really good with what he's getting. And I'm not saying that I don't like DeAndre Hopkins now or anything like that, but what I am saying is that I feel a little bit more hesitant when he's competing with Rondale Moore, who's really showing out.
Yeah.
AJ Green, Christian Kirk, all of these guys can have their day. DeAndre Hopkins is consistent, he's going to be top of that. But I can't see him being a top 5 receiver on the year. Top 10, top 12, yes, I think he gets into that mark now. But I think there's too much competition that we're going to see some weeks where he falls off. So I don't know if I can pay in DFS 8,200. Or in Draft Stars, 16,860. I don't know if I can go there. I think there's too much risk for mine. So if I'm going to do a Murray stack, I'm probably going to look at Moore or Kirk.
Yeah.
Maybe AJ Green. But
Kirk on Draft Stars is outrageously cheap for a GPP throw.
Who's that?
Sorry? Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. Yeah, he's 7,200 on Draft Stars. I think he might be popular this week against Jacksonville.
Yep.
Do you like anyone on the Jacksonville side? What are we looking at here?
I mean, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is going to have to air it out. I'm not interested really in him as a quarterback play in this matchup. Marvin Jones could snag a touchdown, maybe. Visca, maybe, but really,
Marvin Jones is clearly the one.
Yeah,
I think we've seen that the last 2 weeks. Like, he's the guy that Lawrence is looking to more than anything.
Yeah. But
he's going to get
hassled to no end by that defensive front, though, isn't he? Like,
Lawrence is, for sure.
Yeah, this could be a bloodbath. And, there's a lot of points going Arizona's way, so get some pieces in there.
Yeah, 100%. If you're looking at... I think if you are wanting to stack it, I think... Yeah, it's really only Marvin Jones for me. I don't know if I could put any other pieces in from Jacksonville in this game. But I think there's every reason for you to play Arizona Cardinals this week. In terms of running backs, Chase Edmonds, I don't mind. He's still only there at 5,700 on DraftKings, but he's pushing up. But James Conner, they're at 5K, a bit cheap at 9.6 on Draft Stars.
Yeah, they just don't excite me. They're just going to...
There's no upside, is there?
Nah, there's just... No. Kyler's the guy, isn't he? Like, really, he's taken their work. So
100%.
No. It's just classic running backs next to running quarterbacks.
That's it. You could onslaught this game as well. Really could. Just play all your Cardinals and just avoid all the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, let's move on to another really exciting game.
Yes.
And this one's legitimate this time. This is Kansas City taking on the LA Chargers. And I love this game. This is going to be exciting. 55.5 point over under. This is look, you got Keenan Allen and
Yes.
Mike Williams. You've got Austin Eckler, who I think if you're looking at ownership percentages already in DFS, he's low. He's like no one's really talking about him, but he's in this game. He's going to get past to. I love Austin Eckler this week. I think he's really reasonably priced as well.
No, we saw the targets come to him. So
9 targets.
Yeah. So
he put in all of them, I think.
No, I'm all in on Eckler this week in cash in GBP anywhere. I mean, especially cash. I think he's
such
locked
a safe
in.
floor.
I don't know about you. I mean, I base this on nothing. Maybe you can tell me something, but I've got to feel the Chargers shit the bed in this game. Is that a chance?
Oh, look, there's a chance. 100% there's a chance. This is the Chargers we're talking about.
Yes.
But I think we got to remember Anthony Lynn is not calling the plays anymore. We've got Staley and you got Lombardi. We've seen them stay in the game for both weeks, last 2 weeks. And
my other question to you, Rowan.
Yes.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do we
cheap.
make of? He's cheap, but is he just fool's gold and he actually is going to keep disappointing?
It's very possible, 100%. I think
I don't think I want to play him.
People are going to jump on him like there's nothing.
Cheap.
Nobody's business. He's 4,800 on DraftKings. That's really, really low for such a key piece in a high-power offense. But you're right, Arch. He has not shown enough. He really hasn't shown enough. He hasn't caught that many passes. He's not working in that space. They just love throwing the ball to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill too much. And if Tyreek Hill was double covered like he was last week, then you got Pringle and Robinson catching touchdowns instead. Yeah. So looking at this game, you're right.
I'm avoiding him.
I'm going to avoid him too, because especially if in GPPs, if he's going to be highly owned, then I think he's the best one to avoid.
That's the thing. People still have memories of drafting him in the first round last year, don't they? So they still think that he's such at a high level. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting how many people jump on him at this price.
Yeah, it'll be very intriguing. But I'm going to avoid like you are. But I'll have any part in any of these guys. Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Kelce, Eckler, Allen, Herbert, Mike Williams, all of those guys are people that I'm very happy to slot into my lineups. Mecole Hardman's a really interesting one.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I was going to say Mecole Hardman's interesting. He's 3,900 on DraftKings. Cheap as well, 9.96 on Draft Stars. He looked like when Tyreek Hill was double covered, they went to him a lot between the 20s last week.
Yep.
That surprised me, actually, how much they wanted to get him involved. And he was decent, just didn't find the end zone. So if Hardman had found the end zone last week, I think we'd be saying, he's a great value, especially at 3,900 if that's where he ended up. But it really depends how the Chargers play defense. That's
it's so hard. The wide receiver 2 position in Kansas City, it changes every week. It's so hard to predict.
That's right. You're saying Jared Cook. I don't mind Jared Cook. I think if you're going to play a Herbert stack, then I think Jared Cook's really a good play in your tight end spot. But I'm not sure if I want to play him if Herbert's not my quarterback.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
All right, next game. We got Buffalo versus Washington. And this is one of those games that always intrigues me. It's like it's 45.5 points. We've been talking about Washington's defense were hyped up in the preseason, but they haven't really shown too much.
Well, it's hard when the defense is on every bloody play because the offense just is struggling. So
yeah, that's right. Gibson isn't doing what we had hoped.
Yeah,
he's not in those 2-minute drills. We saw McKissick be on the field for all of that time, essentially, when they were playing the last bits of the half and all that kind of stuff. So Antonio Gibson, while I'll keep playing him in redraft, I think he'll be an RB2. He's not someone that I'm going to push towards in DFS. He's still priced at a mark that I think, I don't know. But that's me. This is the thing as well. I could be really wrong. We could be reading the first 2 weeks too much and forget that this is a guy that can have 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to do with Antonio Gibson here. The thing is, though, Buffalo have a great defensive front, and I don't really want to bet against that.
Yep.
Who do you like in this game, Arch? Are you going to stack Diggs and Allen, or are you going to avoid?
Well, I mean, you look at all the big high team totals around the slate, potentially you're going to have a bit of a leverage play here if Allen and Diggs do go off, and you're going to save a bit of salary compared to the other stacks. So, you're looking at Josh Allen at 7K on DK, 14.3 on Draft Stars. Like, that's $1,000 less than the, I think he's the quarterback 5 on both sites. So there is a chance that you gain a bit of leverage there and save some salary. So, it's not, in an MME, throwing a few stacks definitely. Probably won't sneak into any of my 3 max or single entries. Just because it's a lower point total. I don't think the correlations there of point totals and fantasy points there. So, but there is a sneaky side there. Look, Logan Thomas on Draft Stars, I think, is a good potential sort of mid-price tight end. Even though I don't sort of like to go the mid-price option, I think there's some value there with his usage. Manuel Sanders as well, I think, is someone underpriced on DraftKings, only 4,200. That could, he looked good, so worth a shot.
That's it. He's fighting, not really fighting anymore. I think he seems to be the obvious third wide receiver in that really pass-heavy offense. So again, that's kind of what you're going for there. J.D. McKissick, basement price on Draft Stars. Too expensive for me on DraftKings, but for those Aussies out there, 8,000 basement price on Draft Stars, I think's pretty good. Especially if he's going to get into some 2-minute drills and they get past happy. Well, Washington, in my mind, are going to be chasing the tail here. So if that's the case, then McKissick might be in line for maybe 6-7 targets. So that could be nice.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I look at this slate, it's so hard to. It's one of the only lower priced running backs that you could probably have any confidence playing, really. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay up. So part of me wonders, with him being such a big waiver wire ad this week, whether he might be quite popular. So just worth keeping an eye on, I guess, the chatter, see if we can sort of work out what his ownership percentage is going to be. Yeah,
for sure. All right. Well, guess what, everyone? Take a break, and we're just going to read an ad to you because, hey, that's what we do here. But we are very happy to partner with DraftKings, and week 1 and 2 have just, they gave us everything we could ask for and more. And we had so much fun that we are running it back again for week 3 with our friends at DraftKings. This week, all users will have their shot at $1 million top prize. Don't forget. So DraftKings will have tons of contests, obviously, with absolutely massive prizes. So there's no better time to get in on the action. Here's how it works. 1, sign up for your DraftKings account. 2, make a first-time deposit and enter your favorite contests. Choose your players while staying within the $50,000 cap. Follow the action and take a shot at glory and massive prizes. So what are you waiting for, guys? It's time to take on the competition and take your shot at $1 million US. Just go to dkng.co/TFL to sign up and get started. That's dkng.co/TFL. If you're watching online on YouTube, it's there on the screen for you. Disclaimers. Global contest. Entry fees and prizes are in US dollars, not available to residents of South Australia. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Gamble responsibly. Think about your choices. Call Gambling Help 1-800-858-858. www.gamblinghelpline.org.au. Eligibility restrictions apply. See au.draftkings.com for details.
Oh, thanks, Rowan. Look, obviously, just taking the time to watch or listen to us means the world to us. Look, one way that you can help support our pod and support this Aussie fantasy industry is just to join our Patreon. With our base supporter tier starting at $2 Australian a month, you can help support our Aussie-based fantasy and DFS pod. Benefits of joining our Patreon include... I'll throw in a stubby holder, I think, for the next week. And basically getting our access to our cash game lineup of the week on Draft Stars and DraftKings. So if you want to see what we're putting in this week, join up for the less than the cost of a cup of coffee. Come join us at patreon.com/the TFL podcast.
Brilliant. No Indianapolis at Tennessee. I'm just jumping straight back in.
Yes.
Let's
business tonight, Ron. I like it. Just bam, bam, bam.
There's a lot of games, mate. There's no buys happening at the moment, so we've got to get pushed through. Let's talk about the big gun.
We're still in the 1 p.m. slot.
Yeah, no, that's right. Let's talk about the big gun. Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Just went off. Won people lots of money last weekend.
So much.
Won people lots of matchups. This is the guy
lost
that just...
people that faded him.
hey,
Tell you what, I had him in a few GPPs. I must be honest, his price was good last week.
It was.
But man, I would have loved to have him in cash. That would have helped a lot.
Sure would have. Anyway, we did not. Alas,
He's going to be popular this week.
He is. He's priced up. He's 8,600, which he's a top RB on DraftKings, I'm pretty sure. So looking at that, he's sub 9K. Like often you've got McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook sitting up there who are above 9K, but now we've got Derrick Henry sitting there
Still
at
good value.
8,600. We saw what he did.
Yep.
Indianapolis might have to play Jacob Eason this week.
Yes, he's going to steamroll them.
Oh my gosh. Like Derrick Henry might be popular, but it's for good reason. I'm just going to say that. And he's sub 15,000 on Draft Stars as well.
Yeah.
Man, he's just good value everywhere. So Derrick Henry, you got to play. Now, Jonathan Taylor on the other side of the ball. It's really interesting. Like one of the things I love looking into is Hayden Winks. He writes for Underdog Fantasy. He has this fantasy usage model.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at what's the expected outcome in half PPR points versus what actually is happening. So Jonathan Taylor averaging 10.2 half PPR points, right, over the last 2 weeks, RB25. Based on his usage, he should be apparently about 19.5. He's getting stuffed on the goal line. He's going to regress back to that. He's going to have a positive regression, I think. So it depends where you think that's going to lie against the Titans, who have a rubbish defense, and potentially here they're still like Vegas is still saying they're going to score points, and if they're relying on Jacob Eason, Jonathan Taylor at 6,700 on DraftKings and at 12,000 on Draft Stars, this could be the week where we see Jonathan Taylor really tear something to shreds. Like we know he has the talent to do. I don't know. I've got a soft spot here for Jonathan Taylor this week, Arch. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely could be a good GPP play, I think, where a lot of people aren't, he's going to get buried in the price list, isn't he? So, no, I think what you want to keep an eye on is obviously the news about Wentz and Eason.
Yeah.
And then just check how the Vegas lines are moving.
Yeah,
we might see that implied total of Indianapolis, their implied team total is 21.25 at the moment. If that goes, sub 16 to sub 18 almost,
that gets tricky.
Yeah, then I'm not so sure. But no, look, that's it. He's someone who's got the talent. Whether he is the offensive line can sort of step up and create some lanes for him. Look, I'd love to get in on it early before the breakout. So if that's going to happen, maybe this week could be a good week.
Maybe. Are you going to chase a stack here? Maybe Tennessee or obviously you're not going to stack anyone with Indianapolis, but do you like that side of the bowl, or are you happy to kind of leave it at Derrick Henry and that's it?
No, look, I think Tennessee is showing slight improvements, where I think don't lose faith with Ryan Tannehill and AJ Brown yet. Okay, like he hasn't. Yeah. He's disappointed the first couple of weeks, but let's not forget there's a good body of work behind them. Have some faith. I might throw in a couple Tennessee stacks.
Yeah, I'm happy to watch AJ Brown's price drop and his value drop.
Thank you very much.
Go trade for him and redraft if you can, because potentially you've got a very disappointed fantasy manager in that regard. So AJ Brown is one of those guys I'm definitely keeping my eye on, because Julio Jones is going to, take good defenders, depending on how the defensive coordinator on the other side is seeing it. So, we'll just watch out for AJ Brown, that's for sure. Pittman is probably getting a bit too expensive for mine. Zach Pascal, he's showing out, but he's getting a little bit more too expensive for me there as well. So,
if Eason plays,
the Titans D, definitely in play.
Titans D, are you kind of worth throwing out a little, 8K in Draft Stars, 4K DK bone minimum quarterback price of Jacob Eason? Or is this the points aren't going to be there and it's not even worth it? And don't get sucked in.
I would have to have a closer look at defensive pressure that the Titans have applied.
Yeah,
because word is that Eason's just a stone in the pocket. He will just stand there.
Yeah.
Won't be able to extend any plays. So depends what's out there for him. He is that's 8K though, so that is nice.
You can
it
find
frees
a
up
lot
the
of
rest of your lineup big time. So yeah, interesting. If there's a guy that's 8K and can, or 4K on DraftKings, and they can get you,
if they
15
can 3x
points.
that.
Yeah, well, if they go 20, that'd be great. Anyway, let's move on. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. This is just Pittsburgh's just a bit ugly. Deontay Johnson's got question marks all around him. Najee Harris looked okay.
He didn't hurt you. He didn't excite you. He just did enough.
He just did what a Pittsburgh running back seems to have done.
Yeah, look, and which you
years.
expect to happen when you've got so much volume behind him. But against Cincinnati, he could be all right. I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one. Again, this is a game that I'm looking at and going,
yeah, it's
I'm
not
to
a
pass.
game that excite me.
Not at all. I mean, in redraft, you can play Jamar Chase. You play Higgins and Boyd. Higgins has been really solid, actually.
Yeah. You're playing Harris in redraft as well.
Oh, for sure. I'm interested to see what happens with the Deontay Johnson targets. That's probably what I'm interested in. Where are they going? Does Juju have a great week this week? That's probably one of the questions I think that could be answered, and I would not be surprised if Juju has 10 receptions this week.
Yep.
But anyway, let's move on because that game's really boring.
Yes.
New England Patriots take on New Orleans in Boston. You've got the Patriots as 3-point favorites here, Arch.
How's the New Orleans game having a 42-point team total?
Strange.
Game total. That's it's just didn't Kamara disappointed last week? Are you going back to him? At his price, it seems like a bit of a hard pill to swallow.
It does a little bit. He is quite pricey, especially on DraftStars. He's very pricey at 17.6. On DraftKings at 8.2. I can see him outperforming Henry this week. The chances are lower than I'd like, but I can see it happening. So Kamara there as your number one RB for your lineup, I don't mind. I mean, you have to play him in redraft. Jameis Winston, though, is the question mark. Yep. He capitulated last week and just did nothing.
Yep.
So it's
bloody
a tricky
cheap.
one. These teams though are going to run the ball a lot. I think. So they're going to try and keep things efficient. So I can't trust anyone really except Alvin Kamara. Potentially, trust is a tricky word, but Damian Harris I quite like still. From what he can provide, I still think he's really, really solid. James White is really intriguing for DraftStars, where he's only priced at 9,700. I think that could be a sneaky play. He's got the potential to hole in 5 catches, which is always a massive, massive plus for a running back. So, but otherwise, I don't know, Chris. I don't feel confident in anything really about this game.
Where do you sit with Jonnu Smith at the moment?
Jonnu Smith
could be a punt play tight end.
Yeah, for sure. He's 6K on DraftStars. He's only thing is though, him and Hunter Henry is so evenly priced.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was looking a bit closer at Jonnu Smith because obviously last year I just went in and probably a bit too hard, and since the move I've been hesitant because of the Hunter Henry situation. But when he's on the field and running routes, he's 30% of them. He's getting the target. So when he's on the field, he's getting them. Problem is last week he was only there for 50% of the snaps.
Oof.
So it's a real tough spot. But if he's getting targeted when he's on the field and it just happens to be a touchdown, especially at DraftStars at 6K, it's not bad.
For sure. And look, let's be honest, the New Orleans defense is solid. It's good. Yeah. And they will know how to, kind of limit through the air. And so if Mac Jones has to check it down a lot, if they have to get those little seam routes happening, then for sure, Jonnu Smith can be really could be a really solid play. So I don't mind it. If you got the cash to go up to he's 4,100 on DraftKings, 6,000 on draft stars where you really kind of want to play him.
How's this, though?
You could do it.
And this is where New Orleans have really annoyed the crap out of me this year. Like, you look at the first week one, who's their target leader? Bloody Adam Troutman. What does he get in week 2? Bloody donuts.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. And like, so where do we sit with Troutman? Is he just like, you just can't do it? Oh, I've lost Rowan. What do I do? All right, well, moving on. Hopefully that will get Rowan back soon. Oh, dear. All right, New York Giants versus Atlanta. It's New York are a 3-point favourite, 48.5 team total. Obviously, you're going to be playing your Ridley in redraft. Saquon Barkley is someone who's just, how do you feel about him this week? 6,500 on DraftKings is a pretty low price. So I do wonder how, how he's going to go. A little bit too expensive on Draft Stars for mine. Sterling Shepard's someone who's raking in targets. He's quite cheap. Something's beeping, sorry. But really, this game, you're really hoping that Ridley actually finally gets there. Matt Ryan, Ridley stacks are a possibility, especially at the price of Matt Ryan, 5,400. I wouldn't have him maybe in a single entry or cash game, but definitely in a big MME tournament. And Kyle Pitts surely will get a few targets here. I think we're all out on Gage now. Other than that, shall we move on? I don't know where's Rowan gone? Where did he go? Look, this is something that obviously I'm not used to hosting here, and feel free to jump in the chat here. This is just a bit awkward. Where are you? Is what I'm going to just write in here. Look, how is everyone going today? Anyway, so look, let's be honest. Giants Atlanta, would have loved Atlanta to be some pieces that would excite us for fantasy, but Ridley's disappointed. Does that mean he's going to be low ownership, and that's where you can get some leverage? Maybe this is the week. So keep an eye on that. Shall we move on? Detroit, Baltimore. We have Baltimore clear favourites, -8, only -8 against Jared Goff's Detroit Lions. 50-point total here. So we're, Vegas is anticipating lots of points here with Baltimore having 29 points. Lamar Jackson, 7,800, could be a good cash play here. He seems to be, threatening that he's not going to, get to the points that we need him to get to, but by the end of the game, he seems to. DeAndre Swift on DraftKings, obviously being the Monday night game, hasn't had any bump in price. He's 5,800. Smash him for cash. He's going to be super popular with that price. Draft Stars is a lot higher. Oh, here we go. Rowan's back. He's got the blue screen of death. Oh, no. So, hurry up, you bastard. Anyway, this is going to be good, interesting listening. Where else do we... you're going to really notice how much he holds up this show, and pretty much I've just been drinking a whole bunch of CC and dry tonight. Let's have another sip. Here we go. What am I talking about? Detroit, Baltimore. Hawkinson, only 5,200 on DK. That's a great price there. Jamal Williams didn't quite get there, what we'd hoped from him on Monday night, but at 8K on Draft Stars, definitely worth a stab there. Rowan's just sent back, the computer is shitting itself. So, look, who knows how we're going. Look, could be a great end to the show here. We're still in the 1 p.m. slate. Jeepers. Detroit wide receivers definitely could get lots of chances to get different in GPPs. We saw Quintez Cephas probably win a lot of showdown games on the weekend. Khalif Raymond's someone I'd also keep an eye on, just basement price there of 4K on DK for 6K on Draft Stars. Obviously, I wouldn't be relying too much on them, but they could, if they snag a touchdown, you're golden. So Moving on, we're in the Arvo slate. Yes, we're all. When you get there, you're over a speed hump. Las Vegas Raiders versus Miami. Las Vegas minus 3.5 point favorites, 45 point total. It's not the most exciting game out there, but Waller, we hope he has a big game. Josh Jacobs, just keep an eye on what the injury news is there. It was on Draft Stars. He's $8K. So if he plays, that's pretty low price. Whereas Kenyon Drake is the more expensive back. So, I mean, if you faded Drake last week, as I did, that worked out well for you. It just didn't seem right, did it? So, really, it's Waller or bust for me for Vegas. Look, Derek Carr stacked with Waller is something I don't mind seeing. And then maybe an Edwards or Ruggs could actually, this could be a week where one of those guys pop out. Look, Edwards had a couple had that touchdown called back. Like he's someone that I think where he's on the verge where if a couple things went differently, we'd be talking about him a lot, as someone who's having a great season. So don't fade Edwards at the moment. I'd be looking at him. Mike Gesicki's someone that's very cheap in tight end land, worth a little punt there for some cash or GPPs. Let's have a look. Where are we? Shall we move on? Yeah, let's move on. Man, I need Rowan. Denver versus New York Jets. Jeepers, look at this. Denver minus 11-point favourites. Obviously, home favourites here. Look, it's a 41-point total, so we're not getting too excited here. We're not expecting lots of points, so therefore we're not expecting lots of fantasy points. So, really, obviously for redraft, you're still probably, you're going to start your Sutton. Melvin Gordon, it's a matter of time before he starts to get faded. I think this week he's going to have a decent week, though. Javonte is still, he's eventually will take over when that happens. Who knows? Fant, someone, he's going to benefit from Jerry Jeudy still being out. Other than that, nothing really exciting here. I think Broncos are the defense to play. Obviously, you have to pay up for them, though. So let's move on. Oh, where's my... Now my spreadsheet's gone. He's really not coming back. I don't know. It's going to be very... How close are you? Look, there's. I wonder who's watching. Anyway, Los Angeles Rams versus Tampa Bay. Look, here's the thing. This might be a live stream only, and we go back and re-record these matchups. It's diabolical without my main man. Rams versus Tampa Bay. Now, this is a matchup. I think that's going to just dominate one of the afternoon slates on Red Zone. 55.5 game total, with only 1.5 point favourites to Tampa Bay on the road at the Rams. Look, this is the game that a lot of people are going to flock to and stack. Cup had a huge week. Expect for him to be very popular. Still, 6,800, 14K on Draft Stars. Look, price isn't too bad still. Tom Brady stacks, are going to be pretty popular, especially, was generally, oh, the guy's back. Oh, man. Yes, thank you. Oh, Rowan. Oh, man, I've been treading water. How you going?
All right, I'm back.
I can't. Don't do that again.
I can't hear you. Oh, great. That's fun.
I can hear you. That's fine. Anyway, look, until you can hear me, I'll keep going. So we're on to... What a shambles. What kind of tin pot bloody operation is getting run here? Normally I'm getting...
Hey, I'm back. Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah, what have you done, mate? What's going on?
Goodness me. Some of just computer blue screens. And then it wants to restart itself. And then it says, I'm just going to update now.
Oh, the update! Rowan, I've gone through about 4 matchups on my own, and it's bloody terrible. And I'm on to Tampa Bay Rams, by the way.
Fantastic.
That's good. I mean, I felt.
Can I just jump in just quickly because I know you.
Yeah, tell me what you want to say.
2 things. Yes. Tyson Williams is super cheap in draft stars.
I didn't even mention him. That's how bad I'm going.
Tyson Williams, everyone, is very cheap on draft stars when it comes to a game against Detroit. So keen on that one. He's a play of mine this week, that's for sure. And I'm very keen on a Derek Carr stack this week. Give me Darren Waller. And
at least I was on that. I was
well done.
That, so
fantastic.
Jeez, look, I've never been more scared in my life, Rowan. I mean, I can disappear and you're fine, but my goodness, don't leave me alone. Jeez.
Well, at least I know the role that I play for this podcast.
What do we do? Do we go back and re-record those games, or are we just going to let it slide and just what it is, and just expose me as the fraud that I am?
No, look, you're just going to have to roll with it. Yes. Meanwhile, I need to just quickly check on my my recording because
to be honest, you blue screen again. I'm down tools, and this is over. Honestly.
Sure. That's fun. Everyone listening at home, that's really good fun for everyone, isn't it?
I promise you, Rowan, people have switched off after you went because they're like, this guy is shit. He has no idea what's going on. Look, I was just in the middle of saying that the Tampa Bay Stacks are going to be pretty popular.
Very, very popular.
And I guess where people were able to get different with the Tampa Stacks is that basically, it's choose 2 pass catchers, isn't it? Out of the 4, that you have to. Your Godwin, your Evans, your Antonia Brown, and really
who has COVID, mind you.
Yeah,
Don't
so Antonia Brown is someone I'd be fading this week. So because he's vaccinated, if he returns 2 negative tests or something, there is still a chance he can play.
I think so. Yeah, that's right.
So look, you want to keep an eye on that, but otherwise, I guess it narrows your focus where it's, are you going to go an Evans Godwin or are you going to mix in Gronk with one of those guys? Look, it was the Evans weeks last week. Godwin is the target monster. He's almost the one that I'd always keep in and then sort of rotate the other pass catchers with Godwin, just because of the volume that he seems to get out of, across the middle of the field.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can always trust that to really be solid. And I think, Godwin's going to be a pretty smash play. Have you talked about the other side? Have you talked about Cooper Kupp?
No, I just mentioned how popular he's going to be. Robert Woods is more than $1,000 cheaper, almost $2,000 cheaper on Draft Stars. A lot cheaper. He's a wide receiver too. They normally correlate pretty well with the quarterback. Are you interested in Woods this week? Or are you worried that Van Jefferson's eating into that work?
Nah, look, I think Woods is he's going to come back. I think Woods is going to be a guy that you're going to be surprised at these first couple of weeks. New quarterback. New quarterbacks always are going to go to their favorite guy, and Cooper Kupp's that guy at the moment. But Robert Woods, they need Robert Woods. They need Robert Woods to be operating well, to be able to be dimensional offense. And he's going to get work. And this week, when they're going to stuff the run game, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. There has to be Robert Woods next. It has to be. So I like Robert Woods to be that unique play this week, which is probably not what we thought we'd be saying earlier in the preseason. That's for sure. Next one.
Does Sean Jackson ever going to be a thing this year? No.
No.
All right,
just don't go there. Seahawks at Minnesota, hey?
Yes.
Do you like me coming in and now being the intro to the game?
Oh, man. You don't understand how I'm so much more relaxed.
Funny.
Honestly, you're going to listen back. You're like, honestly, listen back, because you're going to just die.
I will. I'll have to. That's for sure.
Why have I joined forces with this numbnuts? Honestly.
This game's going to be a shootout. I'm looking forward to this one. 55.5 point over-under. You've got Seattle as 2-point favorites. They got it being close. You can play anyone in this game. Seriously. You can create stacks left, right, and center.
Oh, absolutely.
You can be playing Kirk Cousins is a very startable quarterback in redraft as well, everyone. Don't forget that. He's been really good. So looking at this, you've got pieces everywhere that you can be attaching to. So it's really mix and match to your heart's desire. That's really what's happening here. So it's a Seahawks stack, a Minnesota stack. It's do whatever you want.
Do we know where Dalvin Cook sits? The last thing I read was that, he's banged up, but Zimmer's pretty keen on just making him push through it because he needs him.
Yeah, look, they really want Dalvin Cook to be Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that gets in my head a little bit, though, and I'm like, maybe I just don't play him. Maybe it's just better to just avoid. Seattle, they've been solid, but you can score against them. So Dalvin Cook should, if he is right and gets all the opportunities like he does, he should be fine. And he should be fine to just really have a smash game. But it's whether you take into account that maybe Madison gets a couple of extra series or something like that where he's just going to come in. So who knows? The big thing for me on this one, actually, I'll let you talk in a second. Yeah, you talked enough.
Oh, bloody hell, have I?
It's the Vikings D. And super cheap. Oh, that's that. Yeah, true that, B-League. Thanks for listening, mate. Appreciate it.
I don't know how long that's been sitting there, by the way. That's how much of a shambles I'm running here.
The Vikings D really rated quite highly for sack rate.
Yeah.
Been really good at pressuring the quarterback. And the Seahawks have been rubbish on offense in terms of sack rate, expected sack rate and whatnot. So, again, we are looking with defenses for sacks and turnovers. And I don't care about points because it's so hard to predict exactly how many points are going to be scored in the game. So if I can have a look at the pass rush and know that they're going to be pretty solid at giving a lot of pressure and chance at sacks, like the Vikings have created a few sacks per game last few weeks, and Seahawks, well, Russ likes to run a lot and he gets caught with the ball.
Yep.
He does. He likes to extend the play, but he gets caught with the ball. Vikings here could easily have 3-4 sacks, and that's a great floor.
Yeah, take that.
So Vikings D is a smash play for me. Not smash play in the sense of they're going to score you a defensive touchdown or anything like that, but just they're safe. You're not going to get negative points out of them. So I like the Vikings.
Seattle catches. Lockett has just been killing it, right?
Absolute gun.
But on DK, him and Metcalf are pretty much the same price. Go over to Draft Stars, we've got a 2K discount on Metcalf.
Yeah, that's huge. That's really huge. Like DK Metcalf at 13,700 on Draft Stars is just great value.
What I like about Lockett is everyone was obviously we're only 2 weeks into the season, but everyone's like, oh, he's inconsistent. But man, the volume's there, isn't it? And we've seen it come in. So
we forget that last year he was in hospital halfway through the season, and he was wrestling with that quite.
And the team paid a shirtload for him.
Oh yeah,
they gave him a big contract.
Big time.
You got to watch what the teams are doing. So no, that's been pleasing to see. But I think Metcalf, don't fade him just yet. And on Draft Stars, I think that price, whether that makes him too popular or not, I think that's something we want to keep an eye on. But for a 2K discount, that's pretty nice for your Russell Wilson stacks.
Oh, he could be scoring 2 touchdowns easy in this game, DK.
What do you feel about an Everett tight end punt play?
Again, if the offense is pumping, they've said they want to get the ball in his hands, but the defense just didn't let him last week, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, he's a possible punt play, that's for sure.
I think Conklin's another
3K on DraftKings is great.
Yeah. Conklin's another one, I think, on the other side.
You're going to see a bit of these guys in lineups this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I tell you what, KJ Osborne, let's just talk about him quickly. I think with really the lack of headlining tight end, for the first time in a couple of years, the wide receiver 3 has actually been quite relevant. And you're looking at KJ Osborne, I think he's at his price of 3,500, 6,400 on Draft Stars. It's worth the shot, I think, in GPPs.
Oh, 100% he is. I really like KJ Osborne this week. He's
maybe even cash. Maybe like if that allows you to then spend up elsewhere, like that's someone you don't mind throwing into your wide receiver 3 or flex spot.
Yeah, I think what KJ provides is, like you're saying, he's playing an extra role. They've changed up their offense as well. I think that's what we're seeing. You see these offenses that come out and they're playing new schemes and whatnot. So they're playing the 3 wide receiver set a lot more. So defenses aren't recognizing that as much. They're covering the Thielen and the Jefferson. And hey, there's Osborne. He's free. Let's pass it to him. And Kirk's, been really good at supplying him with great touches. Like he's done that consistently last 2 weeks. Consistently, take that word for what it is. But I think KJ Osborne is a really solid play.
Yeah,
that does. He allows you in DFS to get to so many other great top end running backs and the like. So
yeah,
he's going to be featured a bunch for me.
Yep,
that's for sure. Next up,
that's the main slate done.
That's it. That's the main slate. Well done. We got through. Last 2 games, Sunday Night Football.
Honestly, Rod, how I got through a few games there.
I'm very proud of you, Arch. I'm very proud.
No, don't say that till you listen. Honestly.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to the freak out. San Francisco take on Green Bay. San Francisco take on Green Bay. Let's reel it back in here.
Yeah, let's get through this. Main slate's done.
Main slate's done. Look, Sunday Night Football, you're looking at a showdown slate for DFS. You're going to play in redraft all the guns, right? Elijah Mitchell, you're going to play if he's healthy. So keep an eye on that one.
Kerryon Johnson.
Oh, look, tell you what, it'll be really interesting to see what happens here. And hey,
what happened in one of our dynasty leagues? He got picked up today, not by me, mind you.
Did he? I missed that. Actually.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. Look, Kerryon Johnson might have some semblance of
Aaron Jones. Thank you very much for last week. Jeez.
Oh, he was amazing, wasn't he? Anyway, I think with this matchup, we're looking at George Kittle. We're looking to see if he can be a bit of a bounce back after
Can we buy a
touchdown?
Week. Can we buy a touchdown for Devontae Adams, please?
That'd be nice. I was amazed when he got no touchdowns on that game on Tuesday. That was crazy. Anyway, you look. I like Green Bay here to win it. I think they're probably my favorite team. So I'm probably playing a Green Bay heavy lineup when it comes to showdowns, and also favoring them when it comes to my redraft team as well. But Deebo Samuel is a gun. I'll put it out there.
Yeah. What are we? Where are we sitting with Ayuk? Like,
I don't know. I'm avoiding until I see something. That's really
obviously in redraft. I've picked him up in a few places in draft season.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm getting draft offers that I'm really starting to consider that really make me sick. Like Dallas Goedert for Ayuk. Like that's a sort of thing. I'm like, oh, I need a tight end. I need a tight.
There's so many tight ends out there, Arch.
Well, I haven't accepted because of that, but yeah, that's the situation we are. I mean, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, injury related as well. So the hope is rational thinking is that he should at least. I mean, it can't get worse. Can't get worse, Rowan.
No, it can't.
Well, actually, it can get worse because he's still got name value. But anyway.
The only way is up. After that, you got Monday Night Football. I got my Eagles taking on Dallas. I'm really excited for this game because I think we're going to see a bit of a shootout. I can't wait to watch Jalen Hurts just run amok against this Dallas defense. You got Dak Prescott, who had a rubbish week, sunk so many lineups. He was so popular on the weekend. So hopefully he comes back, and you've got CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, hopefully coming back for you if you're a manager of theirs. Tony Pollard and Zeke is the big question.
Yeah, what's going on there, man?
I don't know. That's really the thing. My guess is that Tony Pollard is being moved into that, I don't know, that Nyheim Hines type role, and he's showing that he's got some explosiveness about him, and he can carry the ball well. I really like Tony Pollard. I've liked Tony Pollard for a while.
Yeah.
But he's stuck behind Zeke, so you're like, what are they doing? But they're changing things up. They really are. Zeke is not a top 5 running back. I can't see it like that. So he's going to be top 12 for sure because his usage is still good. So don't write him off because of Tony Pollard. But this is turning into a disappointed to running back show.
Yeah, he's disappointing to where you drafted him, though, isn't it?
100%. That's right. But against Philly, yeah, that running back position is going to be interesting to watch to see how they go. I mean, Elijah Mitchell was solid against Philly last week, so without the touchdown, though, obviously. So watch to see what happens here. But as we saw against the Chargers, Dallas can choose to go running back heavy or wide receiver heavy. So that's another thing that we're reading into. Like, what way are they going to play Philly? So, yeah, watch for the Cowboys and how they use that. Tight ends here are useless.
Yes.
All of them are useless. Goddard's fine. He's okay. But, again, question marks. A lot of question marks.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got him in Reddit, you're probably playing him. Like, his ECR on Fantasy Pros tight end 9. Yeah, it's all a crapshoot. How bad is it this year? Really, particularly bad at tight end?
Yeah, let me just say I'm really happy I picked up Darren Waller in a lot of my redraft leagues.
Oh, yeah, I'm spewing. I left a lot of my tight ends late, so
it stings.
Streaming it is.
That's right. Until something comes up.
In one of my home leagues, I've had back-to-back donuts at the tight end position. I've had Gesicki week 1. I'll drop him for Troutman, who's the leading target. Nah, another bloody donut. Like, honestly.
Yeah, that's the story, isn't it? Oh, well. All right. Hey, that brings us to the end of the games.
Look, we did the games. We got through it all.
I
mean, yeah.
Well done.
Rowan. Seriously.
Well done, Arch. Thank you, everyone, if you're still listening. Well done. I
hope you tuned out when Rowan left the first time, to be honest.
And then you jumped back in, 6 or 7 minutes later when I finally got back into it.
It felt like
goodness, man.
It was surely longer than 7 minutes, Rowan. It felt like half an hour.
Look, it was a long time. We'll give it that. Guys, you can catch us on our Patreon. We need all the help we can get.
Oh, God. Maybe a
new computer
any podcast host, a third member could have helped. Jeez.
Maybe we should get more guests on. That would be good. You guys, check out dkng.co/TFL. If you want to jump on DraftKings, use our code. We really appreciate it. Arch, may you have a successful week 3.
Thank you very much. Look, I need it, to be honest. It's been a couple poor weeks, and let's hope this is the one.
That's it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a schmozzle, but it's been fun. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.